Welcome to the Turn One Studio podcast. I'm Elliot Custodio with Turn One Studio, and here we meet with local business professionals. Today's guest, John Pawluk from Twisted Cow Distillery. John, welcome.
How's it going?
So excited to have you here.
Thanks for having me. It was a good time. Looking forward to it.
So you have a ton of killer product. I cannot wait to dive into this, but explain what it is that you do.
So we're a distillery. We're focused on Long Island grains and clean products. So all of my grain comes from a single farm in Sacaponic, the Foster Farm. They've been around for, I think, 6 generations plus.
Wow.
They literally settled it in the 1600s. Super clean soil. So there's no poisons. It's old school farming with a lot of intelligence. Because of that, we're the beneficiary. And one of the beauties of that farm in particular, in that area, is the soil type called Bridgehampton loam.
Okay.
It's hyper fertile. It's the most fertile farmland in the Western Hemisphere. So
Really? Right here on Long Island?
right here in Long Island, you gotta wrap your head around that. The Western Hemisphere. That's half of the Earth.
Uh-huh.
Nothing is better.
That's incredible.
So there's might be other things that are good, but there's nothing better.
Is that why we're good at growing grapes?
I think I think grapes are a different story altogether. I think grapes. I don't know the education of grapes. What I do know is that the depths of soil that we have works very, very well with grains that come up every year.
Okay.
So, for instance, rye, corn, wheat. We don't have very deep soil here. We go into clay and sand, and nutrition flies through sand.
Okay.
So when you have the right amount of solid loam, the nutrition remains in that loam. So for the things that I use, which is the corn, wheat, barley, rye, absolutely outstanding.
Is grain generally a shorter root
I
plant?
believe so. Yeah.
That's interesting.
So that it's super condensed. The water is amazing out there. They've had it tested. When people come in and test it, they don't believe how clean it is, so they do a second test to show.
Yeah.
It's filtered with sand, and you have a really unique environment. You're aged. You're growing. Within a half a mile to a mile of the ocean. It's constant air moving. You get it. The terroir is amazing, and for me. It doesn't make a difference what grows or what doesn't grow. As long as something comes out of the soil, we're going to work with it. For instance, this year we don't expect to have a great harvest of blue corn.
Okay.
That's okay. There's yellow, there's red, and there's white.
Is that due to the heat and stuff we've been having?
No, I think it's due. Believe it or not, this is the coldest May that I believe the latest they've ever planted corn, ever in their entire family's history. So we're going back quite a number of generations. And that's due to the soil temperature. You have to plant at certain temperatures. The colder the soil is, the less likely that grain's going to germinate properly, and that's what happened. So we don't expect a good harvest with the blue corn this year. But we have Bloody Butcher, we have yellow, the Hickory King yellow corn, and we had a fantastic wheat and rye harvest. So last year I didn't use too much rye. I really did a lot of bourbon. This year, because we don't have as much blue corn, I did a month of blue corn. This year I'm going to replace that with rye. So it really doesn't make it kind of.
It doesn't matter.
When something attacks you, you just go around it.
Yeah. Do you typically stick with that? I don't know what the right word is, whether it's species of or whatever of corn, or is it a mix?
I have a blend. We use a blend. So we have 3 different main ones. It's a Hickory King, which is it's an heirloom distilling corn, which yellow. The kernels are about the size of your thumbnail. They're giant.
Really?
Yeah. And what I like about
edible?
that. Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
so everything we
I've never
do,
seen that.
it's a distilling corn. It's not necessarily what people eat. I believe it's more expensive.
Okay.
Most of the corn that we eat is not expensive. This is a high-end heirloom grain. It's hard to grow. It has more protein and has less starch, so there's less conversion in terms of how much alcohol you make from it. But the flavor, it's about when people ask me, when you're in your distillery, what business you're in? I'm like in the flavor business. I'm not in the alcohol business. Alcohol happens to be the medium we deliver things through. We're in the flavor business, and I want to make as much as unique as I can. So with the yellow, what I found really great about the Hickory King is it's not super sweet, and I get to augment by using malted grains. Most bourbon don't have high malt bills. Their mash bills don't have a lot of malt in it. Mm-hmm. I do. And I bring depth to that flavor. That's going to come quicker than having to wait in barrels 4, 6, 7, 8, 10 years. There's, I'm a small business. I can't wait 4, 6, 7, 8, 10 years for a product.
Sure.
I don't have the beneficiary of millennia behind me of barrels that have been in aging processes. So I have to do things to augment that. It's not tricky. It's just a way of creating more now. So what I do, we really did a lot of it this year. It's a high rye wheated bourbon. So the corn does its job. It makes it a legal bourbon. Then I add rye to it, which adds depth of flavor. I add wheat to it, which has a viscosity that and a flavor that pulls everything together. It's almost like a binder, and it coats your mouth when you have the right amount of it. Then I add different malted grains, and those malted grains add nougaty flavors, nutty flavors, and I finish with the chocolate rye, and that finishes with the dark chocolate, and that's really unique. Wow. That first one's going to get harvested of that chocolate. That Hickory King will be harvested in October. Hopefully for our 3rd anniversary. It's going to be pushing and be close.
Okay, so that was going to be one of my questions, how long you've been at this. So, but you didn't start with
correct. We started with vodkas. No, I did not. No.
Okay, well, you know what? Let's save that for a moment. Sure. You said you started with vodkas.
Yes.
Is that this guy here?
So we have first vodka was a rye vodka. The second vodka was a wheat vodka. The next one, the following year, we took the wheat after understanding it, and we added jalapeno to it. It comes from the same farm. I only make it in August and September, maybe into October, depending upon the jalapeno crop. I expect to do at least 3 batches, maybe 4 this year, probably about between 4,000 and 6,000 bottles. Absolutely delicious. Spicy. It's going to smack you like the first time you mouthed off to your mother.
Okay.
But it's not going to scar you. It's going to leave a memory. It's a great impression. It's really unique. It does great in drinks. And then we've evolved to another degree. We actually make a vodka out of agave. We buy tequila and redistill it and turn it into agave vodka, which is a super. The way I look at it is, and I don't like to compare myself to others. In this case, I would say it's going to drink like a Kettle One, but it's going to be a little more sweet and floral up front. But it's going to have the cleanness that Kettle One is known for. Kettle One is generally a very clean, crisp vodka.
Yeah.
Mine tend to be, because I'm using a very big wheat, a little creamier, a little butterier, more buttery, and with an extended mouthfeel.
And traditionally, vodka is from potatoes, yeah?
Generally, that's the thought, but it's not so, because potatoes don't have a ton of starch. They're about 24.
The starch.
Yeah, the starch is what converts to sugar. So potatoes are about 24, 25, maybe 26% starch. The wheat that we use, between 79 and 81% starch. So if you're thinking about a pound of something, right, I can use 1 pound of wheat and 1 pound of potato, and I can create almost more than 3 times the volume of ethanol from wheat than I can potato.
So it's a lot more efficient.
It's more efficient, and the equipment used for potatoes is aggressive. It's specific for potatoes. You got to peel it, you got to mash it, you got to mull it, and then you got to be able to cook it, and then you got to be able to agitate it effectively, and that just beats the living daylights out of equipment. So it would be additional equipment that I would have to use. So we've opted not to use potatoes as much as I would love to. It doesn't really make too much sense.
Yeah. Ciroc is grape-based, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. How does that compare from a starch standpoint? Because I know it's a considerably smaller fruit than a potato.
I don't know. I've never investigated, actually. I would say if it's raw grape, it'd be pretty high. There's quite a bit of sugar in there, in those grapes. So I think you get a pretty decent yield. Grapes are challenged, though, because it's similar to potatoes. There's a lot of unused material there. So you have to work through all that. So it wouldn't be. I wouldn't do grape myself, but that's just me. Other people do it, and that's what they like.
Yeah. So walk us through what you have here.
So first one here. This is our rye vodka. I call this the whiskey drinker's vodka.
Okay.
I don't know if you want to do a sip along the way. You want to pick and choose a couple? Tell me.
I'm following your lead.
Sure. Okay. So I think.
Guide us down this journey.
Are you a whiskey drinker or more of a?
I am more whiskey bourbon.
Okay, so I think this will be unique. When I drink this in the summer, I drink this just over an ice cube, and we're going to do little ones here. I'm filling barrels after this, and I'm driving back, so I have to be careful. So this is unique. If you tell, cheers. If you get a smell of it, it's going to smell not like a normal vodka. You're going to get some grain there. It's going to be unfamiliar. But when you take a sip, you're going to get the spice that you get with rye, and then you're going to get a creaminess and a butteriness over your mouth.
Creamy is exactly what came to mind.
You get the spice that's known for rye, and rye is my grain. If I have a choice of a whiskey,
Yeah.
I'm generally going to go for a rye.
Okay.
I think there's more opportunity to create flavor there. It plays more. Whereas bourbons are created from corn. I have some pretty obnoxious opinions about it. Like for me, the first cocktails were made with rye because there's more flavor to play with.
Okay.
Right? There's more things to do. Maybe it was done because it was a cheap grain. Maybe it was done because it was easy. I don't know the history. Like in my opinion, the reason you put vermouth into vodka is to cover up the vodka.
Okay.
So when we make our martinis, we recommend it not using any vermouth. Shake the living daylights out of it, dilute it, and enjoy the flavor that's inherent in that grain. If it's wheat or rye,
Yeah.
you're going to see something very, very different.
Yeah, I'm feeling it afterwards for longer than I expected.
Yeah.
That's
And
nice.
that's the viscosity of the grain that you're going to get.
Okay.
I think what's an interesting one as a great comparison would be the. You know what we should do? We should let's do a palate cleanse here.
Let's do a palate cleanse.
So this is our. I'll take a quick picture. That's our seltzer. It's Jody's "Kiss the Sky." Let's see, "Kiss the Sky" right over there. So it's a little image of Northport Harbor. We're from East Northport, so it's a bit of our heritage there.
Oh, look at that.
Where we're from.
Yeah.
That was a photo that was taken from Centerport Yacht Club, looking at Northport.
Who's Jody?
Jody's my wife.
Oh, perfect.
So for years she would drink vodka in a can of Club. So this is like an embrace and a dig at the same time. Ooh, sorry,
A beautiful color.
messy. Thank you. So it's pink, fresh blackberries, blackberry, ginger, and lime. Super. There's no product like it on the market.
It's really
and
nice.
light.
And all of this is distilled in
Yeah,
East
so this is
Northport.
made with our wheat vodka. The great guys at Great South Bay Brewery actually do the canning for this for us.
Nice.
They have the equipment. I don't have a canning line, and I don't intend to get one.
Well, you seem to make an excellent effort at using local businesses.
100%. Yeah, it's all about the rising tide. So
Excellent.
there's no reason to be
Yeah, we
buying.
love hearing that.
I mean, that's the way it works. I mean, unless you have an international clientele, which maybe one day we do, I want to support the people that are around me and support me.
Yeah.
Right. So
That's key.
it all works out. It's everything we do. So if it's charity work, it's good for a charity to raise some money, and it's good for me. For instance, we do a lot of gift certificates. You come in for a tour, and I can do 8 people at a time. That's my donation to the charity. It gets 8 new people in.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that's good for everyone. They typically do a great job at raising money when they get a tour, because it's a unique tour. It's an hour and a half of me laying my soul in everything we do.
An hour and a half. That's
Yeah.
generous.
There is absolutely no question I won't answer. I want to teach and learn, and it kind of let people see what we do and why and how it's different, how we engineered it, why we mill our grain, why our stills are stainless steel and square instead of round and copper.
Why is that?
Our stills are square and with direct heaters. And having those direct heaters, it gives the ability to caramelize the sugar that exists in the mash. So when we're making a bourbon, the corn, the wheat, the barley, the malted rye, all that stuff, every time it hits the heater, it caramelizes. Think about the change an onion undergoes when you caramelize an onion.
Right.
Think about the color, and it goes from white to a dark brown, almost the color of your table. And think about the flavor, how much the flavor explodes. That's what we're doing.
And
So
it's constantly circulating around
constantly.
the burners.
So we do a long heat up process overnight. So we'll go from 0 to about 65 Celsius, which just starts to activate the bad stuff
Okay.
that we want to capture early. And it starts caramelizing and adding flavor from the second it starts heating up. So that opportunity to create that flavor, unless you have a direct fired still, does not exist. It's just chemistry. You're going to have less flavor. We distill on the grain. So I have 3,000 pounds of grain in 3,500 liters of water. It's dense. There's a lot of material in there. If my still was square and you spin it around, what happens? You get a vortex on top,
Yeah.
and you get a
shoot the
mirror
water,
image on the bottom, a pileup of all the material in there. Right? What happens to that material? It sticks around. If you have heaters in there, what's going to happen? It's going to scorch it. Doesn't work. So how do we get that flavor? And this was my equipment's made in Amsterdam, outside of Amsterdam, in a place called Warden by iStill. Absolutely amazing. I bought into the technology, the concepts. They basically reverse engineered the concept of distilling and literally boiled it down to its components. And all distilling is boiling and managing the boiling points of the esters that you're looking for.
Okay.
So when we're making a vodka, you want to boil at 78.3 Celsius at sea level, right? Well, let's say a storm comes in. The boiling point ain't 78.3, it's going to be 77.9. That's 0.4 of a Celsius different. Mm-hmm. Let's say it's a super hot day, it's super clean in the winter, or it's a cold day in the winter, super crisp. There's no humidity. You're going to be at 78.9 is a boiling point. That difference translates to what you're actually collecting when you're distilling.
Are you managing that manually, or is that computerized?
All computerized through a PLC.
Wow.
So every second that still is on, I'm recalculating what the boiling point of ethanol is based on the barometric pressure within the column. And if you don't do that, you're never going to make the same product. It's just science. That's the only way to do it. You got to measure the barometric pressure. Otherwise, you're guessing. And the other thing I love about
conversations make me feel dumb, dude. I'm so impressed.
and it's all based on the equipment. It's based on the training I received. It's based on the diving into the theory, accepting it, and trying to open my mind up to something different. When you start a business, you're a small business. You don't know what you're getting into. Mm-hmm. So I worked with some veterans, and they said as soon as the first bullets fire, the game plan goes out the window.
Sure.
Same thing in small business, to a much less tragic event typically. It's just you don't know. So I wanted to stack the cards in my favor and to give me the most flexibility. What can I do with this still that I can't do with others? Typically, stills are designed physically to create a flavor. Mm-hmm. So you go to Ireland, you go to Jameson, you're going to see a copper pot still with a long lin arm, and they distill it 3 times. I can do my whiskeys single batch because I'm getting the flavor profile I want on the first pass. I don't need to redistill it and distill it and redistill it. Every time you distill it, you're changing that flavor. You're adding or you're generally subtracting from it. If you can do it on the first pass, why not?
Is that, speaking of Jameson,
I love Jameson, by the way. I wanted to name my first son Jameson.
I mean, obviously,
probably a good thing.
They're doing something right? They've been doing this for a minute or two.
Yeah.
But I would imagine that they do what they do because of tradition, mm-hmm. and they didn't have the science knowledge then that we do now.
Sure.
Is that accurate?
Exactly. You start down a path and you embrace that path, and that's what they do. They have the benefit of having hundreds of years of activity and support and financial strength behind them. And I'm trying to figure something out that works now.
Yeah.
It's a different mindset. It's a different business model. It's a different desperation. It's a different pressure throughout. So I needed to do something that was going to give me an advantage where aged spirits take time. And but I also found it's really hard to compete with clear spirits and vodka because there's so many out there. It's so commoditized. We're so taught like, oh, this is a great product or that's a great product because it's expensive. Well, not so much.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call them out by name. I get in trouble doing that a lot. But ask how many spirits put sugar in. How many vodkas put glycerol in to add mouthfeel? Well, if you use wheat and you distill it properly, it's going to be sweet and creamy. Like along the rye.
Yeah.
It's not going to be super, super clean.
You made me think of something when we just had that quick chat about Jameson and how you're trying to do this in a compressed time frame. Let's talk about the business of this.
Sure.
And how are you balancing when you need to expand your product line, your offering, versus finding a wider audience for the offering you already have?
We're not really expanding our product line. We are probably going to be contracting it.
Okay.
Because you start out with a pathway, like we used to do this thing called Lemontude. We made it, and it's the most controversial thing we do because it's different. It's a molasses-based vodka and a lemon drop. So it's going to have a rum flavor to it. A lot of people don't like rum. It's probably the most controversial thing. I also made it in the tasting room without using rum. And I used a wheat neutral, and it was way more liked, right? Okay. I needed to do something, and it was way easier to make it with rum than it was to do wheat. In the process, I don't have to mill grain. I can just use molasses. It's way easier. Less time, a little more cost-effective as well. So I tried it out. and we're moving through it. Am I going to do it again? No, because I have too many SKUs already.
Okay.
So we're narrowing
There's a lot
some
here for
SKUs,
someone in 3
and
years of
we don't-
business.
And we don't have our bourbon out yet. We don't have our
right.
rye, and each one of those bourbons is a different product. So we have the one that we're going to be harvesting tomorrow. It's going to be 2 years and 1 day old. It's a 100% blue Hopi corn. So think of denim and lavender. That's the color of the grain as it goes in. That translates to more protein, more flavor, less starch, but something that stretches out and has these crazy, yellow oils on top that just rest on top.
Yeah.
That just creates a mouthfeel that's similar to wheat. So what's unique about the blue, I never have to add wheat to it because it's got that viscosity from the natural corn oils, whereas the yellow and the red corns don't have as much. So at least this yellow, certainly I'll add wheat to. We'll wheat that bourbon, and it creates this depth, this mouthfeel that's really, really nice. The flavor sticks on your mouth a little more because of that. And that's my biggest complaint with bourbon is it doesn't linger because it's made with mostly the same mash bills. There's 6%, 8% malted barley. Well, there's lots of styles of malted barley. Why just use plain malted barley?
Yeah.
Go into the caramel barleys, and that's what we do. We go into a C20 to C80 that bring nougaty, nutty flavors, that bring the dark raisin and brings the decadence that you'd associate with like a French Bordeaux, which just is like you get all the prunes and the dates and the dark stone fruits that are really, really rich and decadent. That's what the malt does. And with our bourbons, we're putting that in, whereas most aren't. Most of those malts are preserved for rye only. Because rye is such a big flavor, we're using it with corn. We're using a lower corn mash bill. We're adding wheat and rye, and we're putting 15% malted grains in there instead of like the traditional 6 or 4. And it's an explosive flavor that matures much more quickly.
So were you into the chemistry of this stuff, and then that led into the business, or did you see a void in the market?
I needed a hobby.
You needed a hobby.
And
Okay.
it grabbed me. It just grabbed me. I watched the first episode of Moonshiners.
Okay.
That was what kind of started me on this insane pathway.
Interesting. What was life before Twisted Cow?
I was an accountant I graduated Siena College in '93 and was an accountant. Did 2 years at a CPA firm, just over that. Went to work in Manhattan. Eventually got into the Wall Street, Cantor Fitzgerald. I worked there for about just short of 2 years. And then I had a couple other jobs along the way and moving along ranks, controller, and for the predominantly I was a CFO or FinOp of broker-dealers. So
Okay.
I was the guy who had to deal with regulators and other financial controls and financial reporting to both SEC and FINRA and financial, just annual financial statements and whatnot.
Why would you want to give up all that fun to do this?
It's funny. This is, I was never around to begin with, and now I'm never around even more.
Oh, okay.
That was a pretty demanding job. Wall Street's probably the most aggressive, driven environment that I've seen, and it's got a reputation for it, good, bad, and ugly. This is multiples harder. Multiples. It's not even close.
Interesting.
It's not even close. And that's partially because it's a startup. It's a family business. My 2
You're
kids
responsible
are there.
for everything now.
Responsible for everything, yeah. So everything, I made a bet on black, and I just need to, I'm praying and hoping. I think it was the right bet.
How does your family feel about being part of this?
Depends on the day. You should have heard us last night.
Should have heard us last night.
I'm very proud of that. But it brings out the best and the worst in us. Actually,
Yeah.
it really it runs the gamut of emotions. I don't recommend it. I don't necessarily regret it.
Right.
but
Working
it
with
is-
family's
it-
hard, though.
it
There's
is
no
hard.
secret.
It is very hard, and it's a different it's a generational thing, which there's always going to be. I'm a little insane to begin with. I'm a little too driven to finish something. Like you don't stop until you finish.
Yeah.
I always had this thing. Sorry, maybe inappropriate. You're on a plane, and you get hit with. There's a hijacker. When do you stop punching? You don't.
You don't. Yeah.
That's my problem.
Okay.
I'm always punching.
Do they have Does anyone in your family have the passion to the
Yeah.
extent you do?
No.
Okay.
My son has a lot of my oldest has a lot of creativity, where he made our absinthe. He developed it himself.
Wow.
He took about 6 months, and he read it, he delivered it, and he made a fantastic product that's super unique. Gives us the ability to make a Sazerac, which isn't very common. And then it's our own. I can't wait until our rye comes out it'll be at least another year for our rye whiskey to come out. But rye, traditionally, it's rye and absinthe, with an absinthe wash.
Okay.
Makes it Sazerac, and I'm really looking forward to that. The first one. That'll
cool.
be 100% homegrown. Yeah.
That is
So,
cool.
And my youngest is the workhorse. He just kind of puts his head down and he's doing a lot of our cocktails and preparing us for offsite activities.
I always ask our guests what they like to do for fun. I feel like all you do is this. Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Is there any me time for you, or this is that?
This is my me time.
That's it.
This is my me time. It's
So you don't regret converting your hobby into a business, at least not yet.
No, I don't. I
good.
don't. I think it was the right thing. And on Wall Street, I was a FinOp, and there used to be, I'm going to say, 20, 30,000 of those positions throughout the world in the 90s and early 2000s. As soon as September 11th happened, overregulation, everyone's covering each other. Wall Street changed from partnerships to corporations. I can go on for 20 minutes about this. There's so much intensity and greed in Wall Street that you need a partnership which has a real check and balance to keep you in line.
Okay.
A corporation is just covering your butt and just lasting to collect.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of cover-ups. There's a lot of stuff that happens there. Whereas a partnership, you're going to have to hold each other accountable.
All right. Let's try what you have here. What are we looking at?
All right. So we talked about something different. This is our Dune Drifter right here. This is our vodka that we make from tequila. So we import tequila, bring it in, and redistill it into a vodka. So this is right in front of you right here.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
This is going to be a little floral, and it's going to be very, very clean. That's what's really...
It smells more mild than the first one.
Way more. It's going to be less flavor. It's going to be a little more, I would say, astringent, but it's sweet at the same time. It's very, very clean.
The finish is sweet.
Yeah. And as a mixer, kills. This is everything. Anytime it's a vodka soda, we use this.
Okay.
We do this with grapefruit juice. Any cocktail, it goes great with. Any citrus flavor, any citrus.
It doesn't overwhelm.
Doesn't overwhelm it. It's just there. It does its job, and it mixes really well with citrus.
Yeah, that is fabulous. Yeah, I like that.
So that's something that was again came out of opportunity and need.
And is that what's in here?
No, that's a wheat.
Jody's?
We do a wheat vodka based on this one. So what's great about that? And this is you can see on the back of the can, grown on Long Island.
Ah, very nice.
And you can see even the other
beautiful
vodkas.
artwork.
Thank you. I have a fantastic artist who's become a great friend, Glenn Bucalo.
Very nice.
That's you can see grown on Long Island right there.
Mm-hmm.
So all our grain is our requirements is to have 75% of our grain grown in New York, and we use 100% from Long Island. So
Love it.
We think about what our soul is and what we want to do, and if it comes to an opportunity here, I'm supporting here.
Yeah.
All
Good
the
for
time.
you.
This is something that's not from here.
Okay.
This is imported 100% blue organic non-GMO agave syrup that we import 250 gallons at a time, which is a tote. Comes in, and that will yield probably about 1,500 bottles of blue agave. This is big. This is 94 proof. This is going to drink like the high-end tequilas. This is not a
It's a sipper, not a mixer.
It's a sipper, but you can do wonderful mixing with it.
Okay.
We mix it with it all the time. We make our margaritas with it. We make old fashions with it. A summertime old fashioned called Tex-Mex.
Old-fashioned
So
with this,
some
okay.
summer bitter, some orange bitters, splash of agave. Awesome. Really, really unique.
Okay.
So what's cool about this is we talked about the caramelization of sugar when we're talking about still design. The flavor that you're going to get from this, direct fired heaters, we caramelize that unfermented sugar. There's a lot of sugar in agave. It's complex, so it's low in the glycemic index, doesn't convert sugar easily. Yeast can't chew it up easily. So there's natural sugar that remains in there. It's super sweet, and it's gonna roll over. The flavor's gonna evolve, and it's gonna roll, and you're gonna get waves of different flavor, even with the Blanco, which is not standard.
Yeah.
Not standard at all. So, cheers. So
I don't know how to describe what I'm feeling.
Right.
That's very different at the end.
So yeah, so it's gonna almost like I don't want to say caramely, but it's gonna be sweet, like a sweet caramelized sugar. Almost
sure,
like
yeah.
It just kind of rolls. And what's unique, the first vodka that we just had, which is basically an agave product, that's 80 proof. That's 94 that we just had. So it's roughly 20% more alcohol in it, and it tastes sweeter.
Right.
That's the agave that's coming through, and that's the flavor we're looking for. We're looking to show off the sweetness of agave because for too long, we're drinking this garbage that's either fake, created in a kitchen instead of a distillery, with tons of additives, and you put some of this in, put some of that in, and why?
Yeah.
There's no need. Use the beauty that's inherent in the product. That's how it started. Let's get back to that.
Yeah. Love it.
Thank you. The last one we have here is our Reposado. See it right here. This is our Dune Drifter. All our agave products are considered called Dune Drifter as the brand.
Okay.
There's an evolution to the label. You can see this guy right here.
Oh, wow.
That's I think the inspiration was a Clint Eastwood style cow, where before the cow, our first one, the cow's on the beach, right? Right. That's literally a Long Island beach scene. It's meant to show the North Shore, the South Shore, elements of the island.
Okay.
No bridges, but we have elements of there's lighthouses, there's flat sand, there's high end, there's dunes there. It's meant to show the diversity on Long Island. So this one is
I love the UFO in the background.
Yeah, so that he evolved. You can see that just by the look of the skull, the eyes.
Yeah.
There was a significant evolution because this is the only Reposado ever made in New York State. No one has ever done this before. Never. It's the only one on the market. It's the only one ever done. So super proud of it. And it came out of, I thought we had too much flavor in our Blanco. Rather than distilling it again to clean it up, I'm like, let's take a shot. Fill up some barrels. Best thing.
Fantastic.
We had 3 barrels of that we filled up.
How has no one done this yet in New York?
Because it's hard to do and it's expensive.
Okay.
It's the most expensive thing to make because that a good agave syrup is multiple times more expensive than a bourbon.
Ah, okay.
So it's a big risk. So we loved it the first, and it wasn't the intent. We loved it. We did 3 barrels of it, 153 and 230s. Now my batch size is 453s, 453-gallon barrels every batch. And I have 17 barrel, 53-gallon barrels of it.
Wow.
In process right now. The first one, we haven't tested it yet. We're waiting to get through the summer. The hot season is when a lot of the interaction with wood happens. So right now, June and July have been really good to us. I physically hate it. I don't like the temperature above 65.
Sure.
After 67, I get a little cross-eyed. I can't be responsible for some of my behavior.
You're leaving me inspired because you're showing me that, not that I thought this was simple chemistry. I never did. But you don't know what you don't know, and I have a much better appreciation for spirits in general.
Oh, cool.
After what you had to share.
Good to hear.
As we wrap up, I want people who are watching this to say, that was cool. I learned a lot. That guy's really smart. What is the elevator pitch you would share for the viewers to be able to tell their friends, you got to check out Twisted Cow. The reason for it is?
Super clean local spirits with Long Island ingenuity. We're using technology, our motto's technology, distilling tradition, and that's what we're doing. We're using technology to distill from tradition what we want to keep. And we're using local grains, so it's super clean. We're not adding stuff. We're not adding glycerol and sugar into our spirits. We're using clean stuff. So no poisons, no glyphosate, Roundup doesn't exist.
That's huge.
And go into a liquor store and ask them how many of those bottles don't have glyphosate, and see if they can answer that.
Well, they're going to say, what's glyphosate?
Yeah. Then you're going to say, you're going to say, what's Roundup?
What's Roundup?
Tell me how many of those don't have Roundup, and I don't know what the answer is.
Right.
What I do know is mine doesn't.
Right. Love it.
That's a big difference to me.
How can people get a hold of you?
Come down, check us out on the internet, Facebook, Instagram, Twisted Cow Distillery, on our website, twistedcowdistillery.net.
And what's the address?
13 Hewitt Square in East Northport, the corner of Larkfield and Pulaski, 2 miles west of Sunken Meadow Parkway on Pulaski Road.
Love it.
Yeah.
John, thanks for coming by, man. This is wonderful.
Appreciate it.